What is going on, everybody? Coming to you live once again from my parents' house, also my bedroom. Got episode 9 today of the essential, or not the essential. I'm not going to fuck this up this time. Episode 9 of the Changavi Show. We are back. We are live. And we are ready to have a nice show today. Hope everybody's doing well. I showered for you guys, so that's there. Shout out to me. But we're going to get this thing started because we have a lot to cover and not a lot of time. So let's get right into it. The vibes. Anuj's vibes today. I know it's been, a couple weeks since I've done this segment. Honestly, I'm doing pretty good. I say that every time. But school is starting next week, which sucks literal ass. And I don't want to go back to school because I want to work on the podcast and just talk to you guys all day. That would be the dream. So let's make that a reality. I'm going back to school next week. Again, we'll still be at home, so I'll still be recording there. But a little bit anxious, a little bit scared. I don't really want to start classes. You know, it's kind of a drag. I don't know. At least the last year, classes have been more so busy work than anything. So not really a big fan of that. But that is the end of summer. And usually at the end of summer, I feel like people are like, oh my God, I didn't do anything. Like, I regret it. And I am having those regrets, except the fact that I didn't accomplish what I originally had planned for the summer. I feel like this summer was like, I had a plan and then I called an audible and completely did something that I didn't expect, which was the show. I thought I was, coming into this summer, I was going to schedule a bunch of podcast interviews back to back, be a podcast genius, talk to random people. But I started this solo show and I fell in love with it kind of. So I just found this like new lane that I really like and I really want to explore it. I feel like people have really enjoyed it. People have really gravitated towards me having more solo chats, just me being kind of unfiltered me. But of course, like, I want to get back into podcasting and stuff too, just at some point. But I really want to focus on this for now. But there are podcasts coming, so get excited. But I feel like, I found a new lane that I love, and I really want to stick to this for a while. And I think an idea that I'm coming to realize like real quick is that I feel like the lane is always changing, so to speak. I feel like we're always, changing lanes or like changing direction. And you have to be like okay with that, which wasn't necessarily something I was cool with earlier on. I'm a very like type A person when it comes to my career, or when it comes to like things I want to do like professionally. And this wasn't necessarily something that I was cool with at the beginning. I was like, oh no, like I don't want to do that. I want to stick to what I'm good at, and I have to stick to this and that and keep going in this. And honestly, the lane changes. I just have to be cool with the fact that it's going to change and I have to grow and learn. And that's part of this whole podcasting process. I mean, if you told me episode 1 that I would be doing a solo show where I could fill 45 minutes of content and people would actually listen, I'd be like, Anuj, get it? Because the display name, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, you'll get it. Anuj, you're crazy. But yeah, I mean, I did it. So what you gonna do? We're approaching the year anniversary of this podcast. I got to do something special. Got to do a little birthday party for the podcast. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys want? But yeah, and I'm learning to grow, and I'm learning to be okay with the fact that the lane is changing. So that's exciting. But those are my vibes. That's how I'm feeling. Most of you probably don't care. So let's get into our sports topic of the week. And obviously, I think everybody knows what's coming. The return of football. Football officially returned last week. It was a lot of fun getting the first Sunday in September when you're sitting there with your computer on NFL Red Zone and your TV having the game on. It's a great feeling. It's a great freaking feeling. And I loved it. I watched football pretty much all day on Sunday. That was like my self-care, so to speak. And I'm looking forward to 18 more weeks of that. It should be fun. Hopefully my team is actually relevant this year. They did get a win. Did lose some guys, but they did get a win, so that's cool. But football has returned. And I thought I would just kind of quickly talk about why I think this is important. So football owns a day of the week in America. Okay, let's be real. I know there are a lot of people who listen to this who hate football, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's a sport where like people just hit each other, and there's war, and there's concussions, and people get hurt." I'm like, "All right, cool." But football is back, and whether you like it or not, a lot of Americans love it. So whether that be high school football, college football, professional football, you know, it owns actually multiple days of the week. I was thinking about this because the NFL has Thursday night football, so it starts on Thursday. Then if you're in a really big high school town, which we never were, for my Bay Area kids, all our football teams pretty much sucked unless you live in Concord and De La Salle or you went to a private school. Friday Night Lights is huge in the South and the Midwest, right? Which is like Friday night is high school football. Then Saturday is college game day, so that's college football, and that's the whole day. And then Sunday is the NFL again, so you have the whole day on Sunday. And then Monday Night Football. So 5 days out of the week, there is football for a lot of people. I'm mostly into the professional football. I'm not really into college football or anything like that. Or our high school team want to combine 7 games, I think, in 4 years that I was there. So really great performances going on when it comes to our high school teams. But anyway, I just think football, like the return of football signifies kind of like the second half of the year, in my opinion. I feel like, when football comes back, it's like September, everybody's kind of settling in, back to school, back to the grind, summer's over type thing. And then it's also like, okay, the holidays are coming up, right? Halloween's in a month. Anuj's birthday is soon, so Christmas, it all just kind of comes real quick. So yeah, I feel like more from a social standpoint, the return of football signifies kind of the second half of the year. But I am really excited for football returning. And I think football is important. And I think particularly in the NFL, every week matters. So that's why I feel like people are so tapped into Sundays, so tapped into Thursdays and Mondays, because there are only 18 weeks of the season, right? 18 weeks this season. They extended it a week, but there's only 18 weeks. And only 17 games. So you have to make the most of every win. Like you lose a game, you lose a 17th of your season, right? That's kind of crazy to think about, which is a pretty large percentage. So a lot rides on these games, and then, the playoffs will come, and then, we'll get to that point when it comes. But the Niners did win last week. I was excited. The ending was a little disastrous. I may have thrown my phone at the speaker. That's a story for another day. But nonetheless, the NFL is back and fantasy football season is back and the second half of the year has started. So I think that's really what football signifies. I know this is a really bad sports topic. I didn't really want to get too niche into games or anything. But yeah, I wasn't too impressed with my team, which is the 49ers, for those of you that don't know. And yeah, that was, that's pretty much all I have from football. So let's move on to a more interesting subject. No, I'm kidding. Nothing is more interesting than football. I could talk about football for days, but I need to cater to all audiences. I can't just sit here and be like, "Oh, I am a full-on sports podcast that's only dedicated to fantasy football nerds who live in their mom's basements." No, that just wouldn't work. I got to cater to all the people. So, got to get into pop culture. So the Met Gala took place. It happened this past weekend, I believe. Or not weekend. I forget when it was. It was like Monday or Tuesday. I just saw a bunch of pictures come out early this week. Okay. I don't know when exactly it was. And my first question was, why? Why is this relevant? Why is this important? And honestly, it's a cool event. I think the Met Gala in itself has a cool concept. Sorry about that. I think the Met Gala in itself is a cool concept in that you're bringing together the leaders of every field, right? Athletes, musicians, business owners, entrepreneurs, people with social media clout, right? It's rare that you get Steph Curry, Charlie D'Amelio, and Mark Benioff, who's the CEO of Salesforce, and Jay-Z all in the same room, right? What? It's just the most random people, but who are kind of hot shit in one room. And that's cool. I feel like the idea of having the leaders of every industry together in rooms is cool. The problem is I feel like the focus of the Met Gala isn't necessarily on the people, but it's more so these fucking exorbitant costumes that they wear. What? Like, I was confused by some of these pictures. I'm not big into fashion. As you can tell, I mostly wear shirts and wrinkled clothes, and my parents get angry when I dress for formal events because I can't. But I'm not a big fan of, like, the dresses and the costumes that they wear for the Met Gala. It's very whatever to me. Like, I feel like Hailey Bieber and Justin Bieber did it best. They just wore normal formal clothes and walked away, right? Everybody else is wearing these like exorbitant cuts of dresses and all this stuff, which is like, no hate. I don't hate on people that decide to wear exorbitant dresses, or for women to wear, short dresses. I don't care. Wear whatever you want. But like, is that really comfortable? Like, it looks really uncomfortable. I feel bad. Like, if you're cool wearing it, like, by all means, like, go for it. But like, those dresses look really fucking uncomfortable. And the heels poor women have to wear, like, like, that sounds painful, bro. Like, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could wear heels. Guys, could you wear heels? Like, is that something you could do? Like, it just looks fucking painful. I would much rather wear flats. But yeah, I mean, I don't really understand the fashion part of the aspect of the event. If someone could educate me, that would be fantastic. I'm just not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of how this, gala of bringing together the leaders of industry focuses on the superficial part of it, rather than having like deep intellectual discourse, which like I love. So that's why I was like, I proposed this idea. I have an idea, okay, for the Met Gala, or Shark Tank or anything. When I get rich enough, when I become the Met, when I become rich as a fucking museum, I want to throw the Changavi Rager. Instead of the Met Gala, the Changavi Rager / discourse, right? So basically, I invite famous people to dress down. Just wear like a shirt and sweats and pajama slippers and come to my house to actually have really good discussions over a wide selection of beverages, right? And they can wear sweatpants, and we can order pizza, and we can talk about all the industry leading things. That is cool to me. That is cool. That is intellectually stimulating, right? It's that whole idea of the Renaissance salon. So the Changavi Rager / discourse, I think, is potentially something I would like to do. It's just more so a podcast, except without the mics in everybody's faces and being on the record. Like, you can be off the record, you can be unfiltered. We could talk about whatever it is we could talk about. And you can have people who are the industry leaders of various things talk about what they're doing and collaborate and come up with new ideas. And, collaboration between industries is just, it's great. And here's another problem I have with the Met Gala, besides my beautiful idea. Apparently, you have to get an invite. Okay, so I don't have a problem with the invite system. Cool. You want to get an invite? Yeah, it's for special people who've actually done something. I don't know about Kim Kardashian though, but it's for people who have social clout. Okay, that's what the Met Gala is for. Fine, have an invite, but then you got to pay $30,000 to go there. You got to pay $30,000. You have to pay the Met. You have to pay the Met to wear these dresses, right? The dresses that these women wear, and some of the costumes the guys wear too, are like more than the fucking entrance price. They're like $90,000, $100,000. You're literally paying $130,000, which for a lot of people is their yearly salary to go to this one night event for 4 hours, like a dinner party. Like, bro, really? Like, what is with the Met Gala? I don't understand like the clout behind it. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I don't understand what it is. But $30,000 is a little exorbitant for me. Even if I was like mega famous, like, I'm looking at some of the people at the Met Gala and I'm like, dude, I know you're rich, but like, are you that rich? Like, there were some people, like, I'll give you an example, like Emma Raducanu, right? She just won the US Open. She was the first qualifier in the Open era to win the US Open. Those of you that know, qualifiers don't make a lot of money. She won the event, so I think she made like $1 million. She already spent $30,000 at the mill. on the fucking Met Gala, and then probably 100 more K on the dress. Poor Emma Raducanu, bro. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, these social invites can really fuck you, because you get these invites and they're like, hey, come to the Met Gala, pay $30,000 for this, and then another $120,000 for your dress. Like, I don't understand that. I think people should just be able to wear whatever the fuck they want. If Frank Ocean showed up in sweatpants, I'd be like, yeah, baby. So yeah, I mean, I feel like this event definitely glamorizes the rich, and paints this image of them. And then the other hot topic of the Met Gala, and I'll get into her later. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez shows up to the Met Gala wearing this dress that says, tax the rich. And everybody is talking about it and saying it's making such a beautiful social statement and all that. My main question to this, and this isn't even a malicious tone, really, is just like, at this point, like, I get AOC, like, lives on this, like, standard of tax the rich, tax the rich. Like, dude, she's probably going to be the 1% in, like, 2 years, if she's not already. Like, aren't you the 1% already? Like, are you saying you should just wear a shirt that says, tax me? Like you are probably the wealthiest, one of the wealthiest people. You're going to be one of the wealthiest people in this country when you step away from politics, with all the book deals you're going to take, with all the movies you're going to be a part of, and the commercials, and all the money you're going to make because you're a social media star on top of being a politician. Yeah, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez puzzles me, and that dress puzzles me, because I think that she should just have worn a dress that says, tax me, AOC. Right? Venmo at AOC on her dress. Like, I feel like that would have been beneficial, right? Right? Dude, when are we going to get to the stage where we get to, like, Venmo our taxes? I think that'd be funny. It's just like, Venmo me at Changavi. Yeah, you guys can feel free to Venmo me if you find this content valuable. But yeah, I feel like we should, it's going to be hella funny. I wish she had worn, like, a tax me heart Venmo me at AOC. That would have been really funny. Anyway, I feel like I ranted a lot about the Met Gala, so we got to move on to the next topic. A book review. You're like, Anuj, you read? I'm like, yeah, I do. I just started. For those of you that have been watching the Changavi Show since the first episode, one of the first topics I talked about was reading and being more regular with it. So I actually decided to take that upon myself as a challenge to read more, and that's exactly what I did. So I read a couple of books. The first book I actually read, I reread. It was The Kite Runner. I reread it from high school, and I really enjoyed it. And then the second book I picked up and, actually bought off Amazon and read is this book called Gloves Off by Lowell Cohn. So you guys might be recognizing that name, right? Cohn. You're like, where is that from? I actually had his son, Grant, on the podcast, episode 9. Go check it out. And I love Grant. Grant is a fantastic sports journalist who covers the 49ers, and we had a great chat about his career and all of the things that he's done. And there's TikTok clips. There's clips of the interview on my TikTok, so go check it out. But his dad wrote this book called Gloves Off, and I've been meaning to get it, and I just haven't found the time, or just like really, genuinely been in a space that I feel like I was reading. So I was finally reading again, so I bought this book. And I thought I'd give a little quick review on the book. So a short synopsis. It's basically, this book is about 40 years of sports writing. So Grant's dad, Lowell, was also a sports writer like Grant, in an era where sports writing was very different. It wasn't necessarily, you see Grant do a lot of media content. Of course, he writes articles, but he does a lot of media content and stuff. Lowell was a columnist for the San Francisco Chronicle, most notably, amongst other publications. And he was, first off, a writer. And the way he covered sports, I can tell from this book, was he covered it in a very unique manner. He looked at almost athletes rather than being human beings as like characters in this, show that is the 49ers, or show that is the Raiders, or show that is this boxing match, right? And the way he portrays it in the book is he kind of ties together sort of sports moments that he covered with life stories that he went through, and how those life stories and those sports moments that he covered kind of tie together. It's done really, really nicely. even for people who aren't necessarily like big sports fans, there's a lot of athletes that I didn't know in this book, right? I'm a pretty big sports fan. I do know a lot of stuff about the 49ers and the Warriors, a little bit about the Giants, but not too much. But there's a lot of athletes that I didn't even know in this book because they come from a different era. I didn't grow up in the 80s and 90s and 70s even. And I felt like I knew them by the end of reading this book. The book is written in vignettes, almost is the way I describe it. It's almost like 61 chapters long, but don't let that confuse you because the chapters are literally like, some of them are like a half a page, right? They go like a half a page to like 6 or 7 pages, I think is the longest. So they're pretty short chapters. And for like someone who's like an ADHD reader, kind of like me, that's like, you need to grab my attention quickly, otherwise I lose interest. Like, this book is perfect for you, right? Because right as you're getting into a part of the story, oh, it's done. You're moving on to the next thing. You're moving on to the next thing. And I feel like it goes everywhere, but it's done really nicely, and it covers all of these cool themes. You know, I feel like it covers life themes, but it also covers themes about sports, which is awesome. So I'm a big fan of that. And I think the part I like the most about the book is that every character, like when I'm talking about athlete or Lowell himself narrating, is kind of flawed in their own way. And it's kind of Lowell's perspective taking you through these interactions, taking you through these sort of like life moments that he's gone through in these locker rooms and has been a part of really nicely. Like, it just, everything ties together just so well. It's really cool. Like, you know, I think it's hard to describe the way this book is written because it's a little bit of everything is, I think, the best way to say it. You know, I think I went in expecting I've read a couple sports books before, and I was fully expecting like the whole, like, okay, he's just going to detail the career of a couple players and maybe tell a couple personal stories about press conferences and whatnot, and that's going to be it. But no, this book was way more than that because I think it tied in. You could tell Lowell is well read because you read this book and you see how many like classic novels he's able to tie into his various stories, and that's really cool. And I'm just a big fan of it. The way it's written is just, it's a very digestible book. It's a very approachable book. Even if you don't know sports, I would highly recommend this book. It's a very good read. 5 out of 5. That's my review. I want to see another book by Lowell Cohn, but Gloves Off by Lowell Cohn. Go buy it. It's on Amazon. It's also relatively affordable for those of you that are broke like me. Go ahead, buy this book. It's fantastic. Highly recommend. Go check it out. And yeah, that's my review of Gloves Off by Lowell Cohn. So moving on from a pop culture perspective, let's go into music. Got to talk about the pressing performance of the week. I feel like this was something that almost got lost in the headlines because of the Met Gala. But Lil Nas X performed at the VMAs. I don't know if this was last weekend or like this week. I don't know. I'm recording this Wednesday. So whenever it was, I just saw it recently. So Lil Nas X performed at the VMAs with Jack Harlow, who's one of my favorite artists, which is partially one of the reasons why I saw this. And I watched the whole performance. And I got to say, like, musically, it was whatever. You know, a lot of it was like lip synced, which I don't blame them because Lil Nas X was doing a lot of athletic stunts that like I would be breathing hella hard. I wouldn't be able to sing and also like do the splits and dance on stage. Like that's hard. That's hard. That's like physical athletic ability. You know, he's not a pro athlete. He's a musician. I don't blame him. Still pretty fit. He's a fit musician. I'll give him that. But like, you know, he's performing and he's doing his thing. And I think what I love about Lil Nas X is he isn't afraid to like piss everybody off. And I love that. I love that about him. I love the fact that he just doesn't give a fuck, you know, but I also feel like Lil Nas X, and this is something you don't realize, he has a pulse on Gen Z like nobody else. He has a pulse on Gen Z that I wish I had because he knows how to capitalize on everybody. Right. And I'm saying that he did this like to build. This is how he built his rap career. He knows exactly. His tweets are iconic. I mean, he has millions of followers on Twitter because he's just more so than a rapper. Like everybody I know pretty much like knows, oh, Lil Nas X. Like, yeah, I follow him on Twitter. I'm like, dude, you you don't even listen to rap. Like you're a video gamer. He's like, yeah, bro, like the memes though are so funny. And I'm like, oh, that's it. Lil Nas X is hella relatable because he is Gen Z. He's kind of one of the first big mega Gen Z celebrities, in that he is more than just his career, right? Like Charlie D'Amelio is just a TikToker. Addison Rae is pretty much just a TikToker. She was in a shitty Netflix movie, but we ignore that, right? She's pretty much just a TikToker at this point in time. Dixie D'Amelio, same thing. Lil Nas X is an internet personality. He's a musician. He's basically an activist at this point. Like, he's a lot of things. Lil Nas X is a lot of things. It's pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie. And also the fact that he is a queer rapper, and the imagery that was portrayed throughout this performance at the VMAs was, I could tell it was just like, okay, like it was basically just like, fuck you conservatives. Like, I'm gonna do what I want. And I totally respect it. But also the part I really respect about Lil Nas X is that he embraces his identity. And that's what rap and art is about, right? Is like, you have to be able to like embrace yourself. And that's what Lil Nas X is so good at. I feel like he's so secure within himself when it comes to his identity. Maybe not. Maybe I don't really know the guy personally. He could be an insecure guy. But seemingly with his art, like he's just very secure in his sexuality. And he's just like, hey guys, like, and it was very casual. The way he came out on Twitter and everything was like, oh, just go listen to this track or whatever on my latest album. And yeah. And I think the way that he approaches his identity through music is really cool. I'm a big fan of it. He's a gay black man, which is shattering a lot of stereotypes, a lot of, things. And I think he's really great. Like I have no problem with Lil Nas X. I think he's doing things like he's kind of like one of those trolls that's like feeling out the internet. It's like, I don't know, where's the pulse? He'll put out a tweet sometimes and everyone will be like, oh my God, Lil Nas X. And then I'll be like, oh, like I know what he's doing. He's just trying to feel the internet out. Like he's just trying to see where the pulse is at. And he's really good at that. And that's how he blew up, is he knows the pulse of the internet hella well. But also, he's doing a lot of like unheard of stuff. Like the VMAs performance, if he had done that 10 years ago, oh man, good luck. But he did it in 2021. And guess what? I was a fan. There was a lot of like queer imagery and all of this stuff. And I was like, yes, let's go, for sure. Like I was fully in support of my boy, Lil Nas X, doing his thing. It was cool. And the Jack Harlow and Lil Nas X little collab on stage was pretty cool. It was like 30 seconds long, but it was pretty lit. So overall, Lil Nas X really doing a lot of good things. So shout out to you, bro. You are breaking the stereotype. You are doing a lot of really cool things, I think, when it comes to helping out members, or not helping out, but just being a role model almost and an example for members of the gay community. And I think that's cool, particularly, for men, because, that's it's a rough world out there for gay black men in particular. So shout out to you just being so secure in your identity. We need more artists like that. So, you're doing good. You're doing good, Lil Nas X. So completely transitioning. Actually, well, not really. Completely transitioning from one megastar Gen Zer to another megastar millennial. We got AOC. I said I was going to talk about her a little earlier in the show. I kind of briefly touched on AOC and her social media and kind of like her Met Gala appearance, in which I wished she had said, tax me, LOL. This was something I brought up, and this was something I kind of was trying to feel out with people. So on my Instagram the other day, I was thinking about this, and I put up a poll that said, do you think, like, is AOC important, essentially was the premise of the poll. And I was shocked, bro. I was shocked. There are a lot of people that are like, nah, AOC is overrated. So it was 60% of people said that AOC was overrated, and 40% said she's hella important. I'm kind of in the middle of both. Let's start with the hella important side. I think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is super important in the fact that she was one of the first grassroots campaigns to like actually fully succeed and take over the House of Representatives. Okay, that's huge. Not a lot of people do that. That's a big time deal. And she took out a 4-time, like, super elected establishment candidate, and Joe Crowley is what I believe his name was. If I'm getting it wrong, I'm sorry. But AOC did good, bro. AOC did good in terms of like being able to basically uproot this guy being a broke server. That's dope. She's also a woman of color, which is something we could always use more of. Like, identity is huge, and I feel like the identity of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in office is massive. That's great. What else? I mean, she's done a lot, like speaking up for, you know, environmental rights and climate change and what else? I mean, just a lot of different issues that I feel like Gen Z and millennials really care about. So that's important to me. She has broken a lot of boundaries. Okay, that's why AOC is important. AOC has broken barriers. 100% get that. Here's where I say AOC is a little overrated. AOC is a democratic socialist, okay? And in a house that, let's be real, is not fully ready to accept that line of thinking yet. You have her and Bernie Sanders, and that's about it. AOC and Bernie are the leads of this ultra-left movement that isn't able to really do anything in the White House. AOC is basically all she can really do is talk about it and say, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, but nothing is going to get done because mainstream Democrats are not at that level yet. Mainstream Democrats are not at the level to be like, fuck it, we're going to do a Green New Deal. Even if they are, the Republicans are just going to be like, ha, you want a Green New Deal? Ha, increase fossil fuel funding. No. Like, that's what it is. That's how fucking useless our government is. I respect the fact that AOC got herself into the House of Representatives, but has she gotten anything done? No. And here's where I'll fall. And that's not to her fault, right? I get it. The government's rigged against her. She's one of 2 democratic socialists. There's probably a few that are kind of lingering in that ultra left camp. I have no problem with that. Here's where I have the problem with AOC. She has shown time and time again an unwillingness to compromise her democratic socialist ideas. She has to. I mean, if she wants to like actually have a political track record, she has to like kind of sacrifice her ideas. I feel like everyone gets into politics with these set of ideas, but once you get there, you're like, oh shit, like nothing's going to get done unless we come together and meet in the middle. So everyone compromises their ideas a little bit. She can't be this pure democratic socialist that she claims she can be and is just going to sit there and be like, I'm AOC and I'm going to just do this, because nothing will get done that she wants. Let's be real. Until, you know, maybe 2065 when we get when we have a democratic socialist party in office, right? Like none of that is going to get done. So that's how I feel really about AOC in terms of like, that's the other side of like AOC's hella overrated, is that she can't really do much when it comes to her in office. But the social media presence, I mean, and this was the thing I was thinking about, was like, is AOC actually rich? Like, is AOC the 1%? And like, by all accounts, I looked up her net worth and like went to a couple websites, and like her investments are like kind of average. They're like normal. They're kind of like everybody else. Her financial standing is just pretty average. Is she like ultra rich? No. Is she upper middle class rich? Yeah. I mean, she's true to her word from all accounts. So I respect that she's grassroots, that she doesn't take corporate money, all this stuff. That's good. But let's be real, when her career in politics is all over, which, I mean, I could very well see Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez maybe in the next 15, 20 years saying, fuck politics, I'm going to go like actually do something with my, like, besides just, you know, particularly if she stays like staunch in her ideas of being a democratic socialist, I could totally see her being like, fuck this, I'm going to go form my own group and my own activist group and do something. Her social media presence, like once politics are over, is going to make her a shit ton of money. She'll get sponsorships, she'll get books, she'll get book deals, sponsorships, you know, potential acting offers, everything that you could possibly think of. She's going to make a shit ton of money when she's out of office. I mean, she may not accept money as when she's a politician, but when she hangs up the politics hat, oh my God, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is going to have enough money to fund whatever activist group she wants to, which is great for her if that's what she wants to do. But the real question is, like, people ask, is like, oh my God, is AOC overrated? Maybe she's a little bit. Maybe. Like, I don't know. I kind of toe the line in the middle. I lean towards, yeah, a little overrated, because she is unwilling. She has seemingly been unwilling to compromise on a lot of ideas. The dress is a little interesting. The Met Gala dress, you know, she paid $30,000 to get into this event, like everybody else. But yeah, I do see the other side. She, in terms of the fact that she's broken a lot of boundaries, she's a woman. She's told a lot of these guys to shut the fuck up, and I respect that. And that's dope. So shout out to you, AOC, for doing that, for telling Ted Yoho to fucking stick a stick up his ass because he deserved it. I 100% agree with you on that front. That's dope. You've done a lot of good things for breaking the glass ceiling for women in politics. So that is there. But there are other things where I'm a little on. But I still like my idea, man. I keep going back to that idea of like, instead of saying tax the rich on her dress, she should have written tax me, Venmo at AOC. I love it. I love it. I love my own ideas, bro. I'm so fucking egotistical. I love it. Venmo at AOC. Does the handle at AOC exist? I'm gonna Venmo request her. I'm gonna check if the Venmo handle at AOC exists. Watch it not be for her. Watch her be like AOC 123. Like, wow, there's 122 other Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez ahead of you. That'd be kind of funny. But we got one more topic. We're at the 36-minute mark, so I won't keep you guys here for long. I've been posting a lot of these questions and a lot of my TikTok clips on my Instagram, and I've been getting a lot of people a little pissed off. So, I mean, I guess it comes with the fact that when you put your opinion out on the internet, people aren't going to agree with you. That's totally fair. That's totally valid. Like, I have no like regrets with posting any of my opinions, really. But politics, and you just politics. People have been asking, like, where do you stand? Are you a fucking conservative? Is this just you like being conservative and mean? Honestly, I thought a lot more people would be like, are you hella Democrat? Because a lot of what I post, I mean, I just shat on George W. Bush for a whole entire episode before this, right? Like, come on, guys. Like, I try to be fair. I try to dish it out to both sides. But what are my politics? Dude, it's very, very simple. I kind of just don't like Democrats, and I really don't like Republicans. I really don't like Democrats. I don't like either, but I'm kind of forced to side with whatever issues I care about a little more and whichever person I like a little bit more. Like, I voted for Biden in 2020. Like, I did because just I could not vote for Trump. I could not bring myself to vote for Donald. But I'll give you this. On the other side of it, I voted yes on the recall yesterday because I don't like Gavin Newsom. And he's done so many terrible, terrible things for this freaking state. And I figured, here was my logic behind all of it. Larry Elder wasn't going to be able to do much in a year and a half. I did not vote for Larry Elder. I want to make that very clear. I did not vote for Larry Elder. I will keep who I voted for secret. It was not for Larry Elder, though. I did not vote for Larry Elder. But Larry Elder's the other extreme, right? I feel like this is what sucks with voting now, is we're stuck in this horrible era where it's either one extreme of bad or the other extreme of bad. I don't like Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom has done a lot of stupid shit, and he handled coronavirus terribly. Okay, and I don't want to deal with that anymore. So here's my politics: is I go with whichever person I like better, whichever issues I feel like a person can attest to. And I will vote all over the place. I have voted for Democrats. I have voted for Republicans. I'm not afraid to vote for a Republican. I really am not. And I know that's a hot take in this era, but I'm not afraid to vote for a Republican. And I've said this on the record, and I'll say it again. If Kamala Harris decides is the Democratic primary candidate in 2024, yeah, I might go red. I'll probably go red. Let's be honest. But yeah, those are my political takes for now. I tend to be in the middle, and I kind of just flip-flop either side, depending on things. But yeah, those are my political takes. I really go all over the place, and I try to see both sides. But if I really have an opinion, I don't like certain Democratic politicians, and I don't like certain Republican politicians. So it's an L either way. But that's all I got. That's my politics. That's my show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate every single one of you. I know you may not disagree with my opinions all the time, but I had to let it be known. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great day, and I don't have to do push-ups because I ended right before. All right. Peace.